Okay, we're joined now by junior offensive lineman Aaron Kolich. Aaron will take questions from the group. Please state your name and affiliation and then direct your questions to him. Floor is open now.
Aaron, Eddie Lomchek with KKOW Radio. When you think about being one of the Final Four teams, how hard is it not just to get real excited about it and still focus on your assignments?
Well, I mean, it's exciting for every team. I don't know. We just got to buckle down and just practice every week like we have all season. We can't let down or get complacent or satisfied with anything because we're not where we want to be yet.
What do you get from people around campus or around the community?
Oh, they're all giving us encouragement. They keep asking us, "Are you going to win every week? Are you going to win?" And just say, "Well, we got to come to the game and find out." 'Cause I can't tell you that. No one knows.
For you offensively, how do you feel about the way you guys played with Northwest, the good balance you had?
I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome that we didn't turn the ball over that we have all year. I think that was a good thing that we improved on for that game.
And how about Delta State defensively? Talking about Saturday, what do you think the keys are for the offense?
Oh, I mean, they're pretty good. They're good defense, so we just got to know our assignments, and we can't have any mental breakdowns or anything.
Aaron, Ryan Atkinson with the Joplin Globe. I want to go way back here. Can you take me all the way back to Truman and that drive? Can you tell me what that did for you guys? Was that a turning point at all? Because in the last few weeks, it's really kind of come into play. How good you guys are under pressure. Can you tell me about that drive and what that did for you guys then?
Well, that was pretty much the first drive of the season that we really had to go. Our backs were against the wall, and I thought I didn't play in that game personally, but I was on the sideline watching it, and it showed poise. It showed what we're capable of on just moving the ball quickly, and I thought it was great. I don't know if it was a turning point, but it just opened our eyes that we can't get ourselves in too many holes like that again.
And you go into this game, you guys are playing so well behind. I mean, do you want to go into this game with the mindset that you're in a hole, or is that how do you face that and to avoid that again? I guess.
Oh, I feel like everyone's a little different on how they want to approach things. Some people want to have all the confidence. Some people want to be the underdogs. I think it's just people just want to approach it how they want to.
Aaron, Nick King from KODE TV. Just in the locker room amongst the players, does this feel any different than a couple weeks ago?
Well, it's about the same, I guess. I don't know. We're just still playing football. We're glad to be here and want to keep playing. So, I don't know. It's just good. I don't know. It's a good atmosphere, I guess.
Are you guys saying the same things to each other, talking about the same kind of things, or does that change at all?
Not really. Our coaches have kept us level-headed and just told us that we got to keep doing what we do, and we buy into that, which is good.
Hey, Aaron, Greg Grizzolano, calling this with Team Con. You guys have given up like 7 sacks all year. What's been the key to how cohesively the line has played, just game in and game out?
Well, if we give up a lot of sacks, our offensive line coach kind of yells at us. So we try to keep that to a minimum. So if we don't give up sacks, then he doesn't yell at us that much. So I don't know. We just take pride in keeping the quarterback clean. And it's just internally, I don't know, offensive line thing. We just like to keep the quarterback clean.
Well, he does a pretty good job of getting dirty all by himself, doesn't he, the way he breaks
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Is there anything about Delta State's defense? They got a couple of guys that can get to the pass or anything that you've seen in film that you're going to be watching for come Saturday?
Oh, they're all pretty good pass rushers. They're all pretty big, and their linebackers are big. And, I mean, it just comes down to who wants it, I guess. I mean, because we kind of know what they're going to do, but they like to disguise a lot of stuff. So we just got to read our keys and react fast.
And you said it's going to come down to who wants it. How badly do you guys want this?
We want it pretty bad. Yeah.
Hey, Aaron Brandon speaking with KOAM TV. Delta State's got a lot of fourth-quarter comeback wins this season. Have you guys talked about if you get up not taking your foot off the gas?
Well, we talk about that every game, and I think it's going to be really important for this game because we've seen how many close games they have, and we know they're capable of coming back, and so are we. So I just think we just need to go full throttle the whole 4 quarters.
Michael Admire, KOAM. You guys have outscored teams 110-17 in the third quarter. Can you just kind of go over what happens at halftime that has made you guys so successful coming out of the locker room?
Well, I mean, we sit there and just go over what happened in the first half, and we kind of make adjustments, and I honestly can't tell you how we do that in the third quarter. We just go out there and just play. Like, we make our adjustments, and we know what we're going to see because they showed it the first half, and we just go out there and kind of play.
Is there like a certain script you guys go by once you get into the locker room? You know, with this coach, with that coach, and then,
we kind of just sit there and gather ourselves, and then the coaches are in the room talking, and they come out and share what they saw the first half, pretty much.
Okay, we're joined now by sophomore defensive end Joe Uzzel. Joe will take questions from the group.
Hey Joe, Eddie Lomshak with KKOW Radio. Just talk about what it's like to be one of the 4 teams still playing.
It's a really good feeling. I think it just reflects who we are as a team and how we've played this year. It's nice to be rewarded with a really good season like this. So it's a good all-around good feeling.
Did you feel at the start of the year there was the potential for this team to put together a deep run like this?
You know, I didn't really know what to think at the start of the year. I mean, we put together a couple of good wins, starting off with Western. It was really hard to tell how good we were going to be. So, no, I didn't really know. I mean, I thought we had a chance, but I was never sure.
Defensively against the run have been pretty dominant the last 2 weeks, especially after the first quarter with Northwest. What are the keys? What makes you guys so effective as a run D?
Everybody just does their job. I mean, when you have so many gaps on the line to run through, you got everybody in a gap. You know, the offense is hard to be successful against.
And how important is it to defend that run against teams that can still throw it?
It's really important this late in the season. I think that's one of the things that an offense has to be able to do is to run the ball to still be playing. So it's pretty important.
For you to come in there and part of the D line, the way you guys play, even if you're not in the starting lineup, what's your mindset when you go in there and replace either Gus or Spencer?
I just try to hit the guy in front of me as hard as I can. I mean, that's really a lot of it that it comes down to is not getting blocked and then making your play when you're supposed to make your play.
What do you think are keys against Delta State on Saturday?
Definitely defending their tailbacks. They've got some pretty good athletes, and then getting a good enough pass rush on their quarterback to, keep them on their toes so our DBs can make plays.
Joe Ryan Atkinson with the Drop on the Globe. Just tell me about the mindset coming into this game. How do you guys play really well from behind, but how do you avoid that? How do you guys as a defense go into this game and just try to forget those starts from the last 2 weeks, or do you go in the mindset that you're already down 2 scores?
Yeah, well, I think you have to go into every game like that this late in the season. Always, you can't get complacent. You can't take anything for granted. I mean, Delta State's a good team. You got to be a good team to be, still playing. So the mindset is just don't take anything for granted. You still got to come out, and we're going to try to come out, on fire and, do what we're supposed to do, and not get down. So I think that's important.
Can you tell me about that? I'm going to ask you about the Truman game. The offense had that big drive to win at the last. Can you tell me what that did for the team and what all that set up a lot for you guys in the comeback wins against Northwest and both times against Washburn? Did that do anything for you guys as a team as a whole to come back like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it built a lot of character that game, and it built a lot of confidence for the team so that when we do come back, it's not a question of if we can do it, it's just a matter of getting it done out on the field.
Nick King from KODE TV. What was your guys' reaction when you found out that you were going to get to play at home again?
We were ecstatic. I mean, it's awesome to not have to travel and to be at home for another week, and it just makes for another awesome atmosphere and a good time here in Pittsburgh.
And I guess it allows you guys to keep the same routines you have the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, for sure, and that seems to have been working for us, so it's nice.
So you're gonna try to go down 10-0 again there, or 9-0?
Well, I don't know if that's what works.
Joe Brennan speaking with KOAM. You guys already stopped one Harlan Award finalist. Now you got another one coming in this week. What's kind of the key to slowing him down?
Gang tackling, everybody showing up. It's going to be guys like that. They're hard to get on the ground, so I mean, when you think the play's over, it's not over. You got to get there and you got to show up and just, I don't want to say punish the guy, but you got to hit him a lot.
Have you guys talked a lot about getting pressure on him with just your front four?
Not a whole lot. I mean, we're just gonna go out there and play. I mean, we've been getting pressure, pretty good pressure on quarterbacks all season, so we don't really have to change a whole lot.
Okay, we're joined now by Pitt State head football coach Tim Beck. Coach Beck will take questions from the group.
Coach Ryan Atkinson with the Joplin Globe. Tell me about the mindset again this week. They thought they were on the same page like they have been the last 2 months.
Yeah, I think so. We've had good practices this week. You know, everybody understands what we're playing for and what the opportunity that we have. So, you know, it's not like we have to yell at them too much this week to get them ready to go. They're pretty excited and practicing at a fast pace. That's what we need.
Yeah, since I didn't catch you last time, I'll ask you if you can take me back to that the Truman game and that last drive in particular. That seems to set up a lot of stuff. Looking back now, it was big at the time, but it's huge now. What did that do for your offense and for the team as a whole to get that win?
Well, I think when you look back and when you win a game like that early in the season, it just gives your kids a lot of confidence that they're never out of a game, first of all. And then you take that game and then put on top of it the Arrowhead game, you know, and where we're down 22 and then come back and win. You know, it's just we have tons of confidence. We don't ever think we're out of a game. You know, we've been down 10 points last week, 9 points the week before, and you can just tell our kids just absolutely aren't going to panic. It's not like they're not playing hard at the beginning of the game. We are. It's just when we get down a little bit, we're not in panic mode, and you know, sometimes we talk about how the offense and defense need to complement each other. Well, the same thing is when one of them don't do well, the other one's got to be able to pick the other one up, and so. And, you know, fortunately, the last few weeks here, we've been able to do that.
Jim Henry wanted me to ask if you guys are already down 2 scores in your head.
Tell Jim he's got to come over here for me to answer that question. You know, we're going to try to get off to a better start. It's bottom line, and you know, hopefully we can.
Coach, Brock Sisney with Mortensen. The defense has been impressive the last 2 weeks in the playoffs. What challenges are presented by Delta State?
You know, they've got good balance. They very athletic at the skill positions. 3 running backs that are good players. A lot of receivers that have 20-plus catches. Quarterbacks, final 3 in the Harlan Hill. So you've got a lot of good skill players. And so, you know, defensively, again, most of the sets that they run and personnel groups are things that we've seen. They maybe do a little bit better job or a little bit different in the fact that they'll change up their personnel groups more frequently. So that'll be something our defensive coaches will have to stay on top of. But a lot of the same things that we do in this conference offensively. And, you know, again, for us defensively, the main thing is execution of the calls that Coach Weimer's makes and the intensity of getting everybody there. And that's, you know, that's been pretty awesome the last 2 weeks.
With their ability to come back, does that sort of emphasize playing a full 60 minutes?
Well, yeah, and you know, all their games are close except for a couple. Well, even the games they lost were close, and most of the games they won are all within a touchdown. So, you know, they've just kind of played right in it the whole time, and they haven't been up a lot most of the time. They haven't been down a lot most of the time. They've just been able to kind of stay right in there. So, you know, they're going to be a very confident team.
What was your reaction to finding out you had another home game?
Well, we're just, I mean, it's awesome. We, you know, I'd kind of thought that we would, you know, maybe go to Delta, but you never know until the NCAA makes that decision, makes that call. But obviously, we're elated that we have the opportunity to play here again. You know, I think that, you know, I know the announcer is not supposed to be, you know, lenient one way or the other, but, you know, when our crowd gets going and they get loud, it's definitely a boost for our defense.
I know Zach Dickey talked about playing in inclement weather and how you felt like that gives your team an advantage. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, that's something we tried to talk to our kids the last few weeks about. You know, you kind of anticipate the bad weather coming, and we've had several windy games and a couple of rain games, and we just feel like with what we've done with our players in the off season and the things that we ask them to do in the preseason camp, that mentally we are going to be mentally tougher than our opponents, and so far it has proved that has shown that we are.
Coach, we're going to speak with KOM. You mentioned Delta does some similar stuff to the MIAA schools you face. Do they remind you of any MIAA schools?
Well, they're a little bit of everybody, but they run several zone replays. They'll find a way to read several different people, and their quarterback does a good job of that. But yet they'll throw it around, and so they'll run some one back and some two back. So they're their own style, but yet kind of several similar things that several of the teams in the conference play.
You get a couple challenges this week. You practice throwing out the red challenge play.
Yeah, that's somebody said that you have to call a timeout to get a challenge, and I don't think they're going to give me a red flag, so I was going to make my own because I kind of like throwing out there. And Coach Philpott says I couldn't throw it very far anyway, so you have to call a timeout, and that'll be something that it's you call a timeout, and if it's a challengeable play, and then if you win the challenge, and you keep your timeout. So it'll be something a little bit different, but for the most part, they'll be reviewing every play anyway, and so for the most part, it's something we can't worry about too much.
And then stopping Davis, you've already stopped one Harlan Hill Award finalist. Are you talking about getting pressure with just your front four, or what are your plans for that?
Just have to kind of see how the game goes. See how it goes and see what we feel like and how we feel like we can get pressure the best. And, we like to keep our 4 down linemen in the game because we feel like we've got 4 pretty good players in there. We can rotate some people in and out. And with that group, we have been able to get pressure several weeks. There's been a couple times where we have to bring somebody else, but just kind of wait and see how the flow of the game goes. And you can compare and all you want on what you think, and you watch their O-line and our D-line, but we're not really going to know because we don't have, we don't play any of the same teams that they play, and vice versa. So you don't really know until you get into the game how you're going to match up.
Coach Michael Admeyer, KOAM. You guys have outscored opponents 110-17 in the third quarter. How have you guys been able to be so dominant coming out of halftime?
Well, again, I think our coaches do a good job of making some adjustments here and there. A lot of times it's nothing major, but you get an opportunity to kind of review what you've done in the first half, and that's why I always say that it's important for us to offensively to have plays. The game we lost, we had 19 plays in the first half. When you don't have a lot of plays to look at or consider what you've done with different personnel groups, different formations, and all those kind of things, it's kind of hard to make adjustments. So, you got to give our players a lot of credit. They come out at half, and a lot of times you worry when you come out at halftime. Sometimes everybody's about half asleep for the first half of the third quarter, but for the most part, we've come out playing pretty well in the third quarter.
Is there a process you guys go through at halftime?
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than anybody else. We have I talk to the whole team for a minute while our offensive and defensive coaches are gathering information, and Coach Weimer's and his staff get together in their office, and our Coach Rampy and his staff gets together in the offensive office, and then I'll go in and talk with their offensive coaches a little bit, kind of see what they're thinking, and then we go out and present it to the offense and defense as a whole, and then kind of break up into position groups right before we go out, and then we come out. We like to come out with 5 minutes to go and let Coach Philpott get them good and warmed up for the second half.
Coach Beck, Nick King from KODE-TV. Have you gone back and you tell many stories about your experiences, none of these guys, or probably your deep runs in the playoffs, what it's been like, having a new experience for you guys?
We haven't talked too much about it. Again, everybody, you remember last week, everybody's talking about having playoff experience, this and that. The bottom line is what's happened, what happened last week with us in Northwest has nothing to do with this week. It'll be a whole new game. So we're just trying to focus on one game at a time. And we haven't talked much about it other than the fact that we, the only thing is if we would be fortunate enough to win, we've got to be able to make some arrangements on finals and stuff like that next week. So, that's really about all we've talked about. Other than that, we're just kind of focused on playing Delta.
Hey, Coach, Greg Grizzolano, Team Con. I realize that during the course of the season, it's always kind of look ahead. Here's the next game, the next opponent, the next challenge. But, do you ever just find yourself stopping and saying, whoa, how did we get here with everything that the program has been through in the last couple of years and everything that this season has built towards and culminating in this moment here where you stand on the cusp? Do you ever cross your mind?
Not yet. We'll have time to reflect on the season after the season's over. And, I told our players last week before the game, I could very easily, at pregame meal, we talked to them, and I said I could very easily tell you how proud I am of you, and that go out there and do your best, and whatever happens, happens. But that's not what this team's made out of. This is not what we're made up of. We are very resilient, and our players are very determined, and they're very focused on playing very hard on Saturday. And they really enjoy playing the game. They really get pumped up to go play. And so we're just going to kind of leave it at that. Let them go play, and then at the end of the year, at the end of the season, and then we'll talk about the achievements that we made.